In the top stories, Premier Brantley leads cabinet viewing for His Excellency Amory, will St. Lucia become a republic, and Canada ends ban on gay blood donations. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, April 29th, 2022. I am Mervan Thompson. Nationally, Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley, led members of the Nevis Island Administration NIA Cabinet to the public viewing of the body of former Premier His Excellency Ambassador Vance Amory as it lay in state at the Theodore L. Hobson QC Court building on Thursday. Premier Brantley also expressed condolences to H.E. Amory's widow. Her Honor, Mrs. Hailita Liebert, OBE MH, Deputy Governor General, Honorable Farron Smithen, President of the Nevis Island Assembly, and Honorable Cleone Stapleton Simmons, Opposition Member of Parliament, also paid their respects and signed the Book of Condolences. His Excellency Amory has been recognized by many for his distinguished service to Nevis and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. His body will continue to lay in state today, Friday, after which there will be a state funeral at the El Camino Willett Park on Saturday. Positive mental health at work helps workers to cope with changing roles and responsibilities, among other things. As such, the St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the SKNCIC, continues to stress the importance of mental health, a vital part of occupational safety and health that is often overlooked. Executive Director of the SKNCIC, Kevin Hope, during his appearance on Working for You on Wednesday, spoke about the Chamber's commitment to promoting and providing positive mental health support for persons in the workplace.
We definitely have a commitment to tackle mental health issues, work-related stress, harassment, and all of these things. We definitely have a responsibility as firms and as a membership association to provide more access to the right type of support. Psychosocial, you name it.
Mr. Hope noted that within any organization, it is important for management and/or leaders to understand that they, quote, don't always get it right, end quote. Hence, one ought to exercise prudence, research, and engage staff in advancing dialogue.
And this may not necessarily be the stereotypical employer. Notwithstanding, that experience tells me that we have to become more of a caring firm. We have to become more of a caring society. And it is my hope or my desire, especially when we are having debates and forum like this, and even when we engage with our members and the wider public, to start to advocate or at least try to highlight the things that we're doing good, those positive case studies, and try to promote more of it.
The executive director indicated that the institutions have a responsibility to create a safe and healthy working environment and to exercise a level of care. Relatedly, an exhibition at the Department of Labor highlighted the importance of safety and health in all forms within the work environment as St. Kitts and Nevis observed World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2022 on Thursday. The exhibition featured safety gear and equipment used in multiple workplaces. These included the construction sector, the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, and the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SCELEC. Gear and equipment used by officers in the Department of Labor during worksite inspections were also on display. A flash mob also took place promoting the message, Safety First. Students from several primary schools, as well as members of the general public, stopped by the office of the Department of Labor at Limekeel Commercial Development to view the exhibition and learn about occupational safety and health matters. Commissioner of Labor Shernell James said that it is important for every institution within the public and private sector, as well as non-governmental organizations, to have a culture of preventing workplace illness or injury. The Labor Commissioner added that an occupational injury or illness would have a negative multiplier effect. And in news now on the regional scene, Prime Minister Philip J. Pearce says the choice to remove the Queen of England as St. Lucia's head of state rests with St. Lucian citizens. Meanwhile, opposition leader Alan Chastanet believes it is time to sever ties with the Queen and initiate the process to transition St. Lucia to a republic.
Are Queen Elizabeth's days as St. Lucia's head of state coming to an end? On April 27th, Local pro-reparations advocates converged near Government House in Castries and at Fondue Estate in Soufrière, two locations visited by the Wessexes to protest the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations and demand compensation for Britain's role in the slave trade.
It's people's democratic right to protest. We are a government that believes in democracy and the rule of law. We are in a democratic country. People have the right to protest peacefully.
Calls for reparations from Britain, the island's former colonial owner, have grown louder over the course of a recently concluded royal tour of St. Lucia and the Caribbean by the heirs to the British throne. To date, Barbados is the latest Commonwealth member state to ask the Queen to become a republic. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, cognizant of the growing public desire to follow suit, says majority rules when it comes down to deciding on St. Lucia's affiliation with Britain. Opposition leader Alan Chasney says it's opportune to break away from Britain.
I think that there are two very separate issues. When it comes to having the Queen remain as our head of state, this is a ceremonial thing. And the amendments that we may have, other countries have made in coming a republic, are also ceremonial. And I certainly believe, like a lot of other people, the time has come to make that change.
Although the leaders of the island's two main political parties appear receptive to the idea of a transition to a republic, the Prime Minister is prioritizing St. Lucia's exit from Britain's Privy Council.
The constitutional review is on. I can tell you there's a strong argument that we should go that way. But the first step is going to the CCJ. That's the first step.
Rihani Isidore, NBC.
Make a decision to be part of the solution is a plea from Trinidad and Tobago's Chief Executive Officer of SWIMCL, Kevin Thompson, during the launch of a program geared at reducing the impact of the Beetham landfill on the Coroni Nature Reserve. More from Ayana Carter of TTT News.
The health of this ecological wonder is at risk due to plastics and other chemical pollutants. The Solid Waste Management Company Limited SWIMCL, the Basel Convention Regional Center BCRC, and the Tau Foundation launched a €70,000 project to reduce the impact waste has on the Coroni Nature Reserve. CEO of SWIMCL, Kevin Thompson, said a change of behavior and mindset by the population is needed.
We can no longer act towards waste in the way that we have. We simply do not have the space at our landfills for it. It is not sustainable.
Mr. Thompson noted that 70% of waste collected and placed in the landfill is recyclable, and persons must reduce, reuse, and recycle.
All of the waste that is contributing to Coroni Swamp, 100% comes from people in Trinidad and Tobago. I can rest assured with that. But I'm also very confident that there are things that we can do to change that. And certainly, if we segregate at home this waste, if we put it into recycling and not into the garbage, then it doesn't come to Beetham, and it certainly doesn't end up in the river, and we have a solution. So we already know what we can do. This is action that the nation can take today.
Mr. Thompson revealed that the amount of waste in some parts of the reserve is concerning and appealed to all citizens to do better for the environment and future generations. National donors. The project contract was signed in March 2022, and which includes assessment and sampling, lab results, and the design of the project. Phase 1 is expected to last 1 year. Ayana Carter, TT.
Internationally, Health Canada has approved ending a ban on blood donations from men who have sex with men, basing screenings on sexual behavior instead of gender or sexuality. While some celebrated the move, others aren't convinced the new screening questions will fix the problem. CBC News The National reports.
This is a good day that we're ending the blanket ban.
A ban that's blocked gay and bisexual men from sitting down and simply donating their blood for 3 decades.
30 years ago.
For some, this was an emotional moment.
Today, I learned and was affirmed that my blood is as good as anyone's blood in this room.
Once rooted in fears over HIV, advocates fought for years to drop the ban, arguing the policy was outdated, discriminatory, and violated human rights. In 2015, the Liberals promised to get rid of it.
They pushed, we pushed, and it's been heard. When you know what it is to be discriminated against, to live with that discrimination, to bury it deep inside you, every day like this is a magnificent day.
Health Canada is now allowing Canadian Blood Services to scrap questions about gender or sexuality. Current questions exclude men who've had sex with men in the past 3 months from donating. But not everyone is convinced the new questions will fix the problem. Lawyer Gregory Coe is leading a human rights case against the policy.
This is not a full end to the ban.
By the end of September, Canadian Blood Services says all donors will be asked if they've had new or multiple sexual partners in the past 3 months. If they answer yes, the next question is what type of sex they engaged in. If the donor checks anal, they will still be excluded.
The way it is framed is along the lines of sexual activity, which map on very closely to the sexual activities practiced by gay and bisexual men.
Canadian Blood Services says its questions are based on scientific evidence, and its goal is still to protect the safety of Canada's blood supply.
So why the focus on anal sex? Because the evidence is very clear that anal sex is still a significantly higher risk factor for transmission of diseases such as HIV than is vaginal sex or oral sex.
Other countries, including the UK, are implementing similar policies. Canadian Blood Services insists the questions will no longer target gay and bisexual men.
We recognize that for some people this may not be how they wanted it to unfold, but it is absolutely a much more inclusive process.
U.S. President Joe Biden said that he will make a decision on whether to forgive some federal student loan debt and announce his plans soon. Reuters with this report.
I am considering dealing with some debt reduction.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday told reporters that he will make a decision on whether to forgive some federal student loan debt and will announce his plans soon. But Biden rejected the number floated by some Democrats, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness, and I'll have an answer on that in the next couple weeks.
Ahead of November's critical midterm elections, student debt cancellation has become a priority for many liberals, and one that could shore up popularity with younger and more highly educated voters who lean Democratic. But the Biden administration has been reluctant to unilaterally make an unprecedented cancellation of college debt owned by the U.S. government, a move that would test his legal authority. Instead, Biden has asked Congress to pass a bill forgiving debt that he could sign. The federal government has let 43 million borrowers stop paying on a total of $1.6 trillion in student loans since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are cloudy with scattered showers in the vicinity. Temperature for today is 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a moderate breeze of 15 miles per hour from the northeast. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet with northerly swells up to 1.5 meters or 5 feet. A high surf advisory remains in place until later today. Weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis today will be cloudy with showers and a 20% or a slight chance of thunderstorms. Tonight will be cloudy with showers. Sunset today should be at 6:31 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 5:46 a.m. And just the final program note, ZIZ will be providing live coverage of the state service of the late Ambassador Vance Amory on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mervyn Thompson. Have a great day.